The story begins with the sight of a huge old mansion on top of a hill. A thick fog surrounds it, and the light in one of the windows flickers as if beckoning to it. The camera zooms in on the main door, which opens with an eerie creak. Dirty boot prints can be seen on the floor, skirting in front of a massive mirror in the hallway. The reflection in the mirror is distorted, as if something is watching from within. The main characters are Emma and Josh, a young couple who buy an old mansion at a surprisingly low price. They want to turn it into a cozy home and invite friends over for a housewarming party. Their neighbors warn them that the house is unlucky. The last owners disappeared without a trace. But Emma and Josh are not frightened by this. They are sure that the rumors just contribute to the price reduction. Uh, yeah, oh, I'm sorry. I thought you were asking about the price reduction. On the first day, they start sorting through the things they've left behind. Among them is a strange painting of a family standing in front of this mansion. All the family members look normal, except for the youngest daughter. Her eyes are painted over with black paint. Emma finds an inscription on the back. They are watching through her eyes. Blee, e, anyete, buezo, da enye, enente. Emma notices that there is a constant rustling in the attic, as if someone is walking around. Josh writes it off as birds or rats. One night, Emma hears the attic door quietly open. She sees that there are muddy footprints of children's feet on the stairs. Josh finds the diary of the previous owners. It talks about a strange little girl who kept staring at them from the corners of the rooms. Her eyes, it's not her, it's something else. The last entry is cut short by the words, "If you found this, run." Emma begins to see shadows in mirrors. One day, as she walks past a large mirror in the hallway, she notices that her reflection is standing still and looking her straight in the eye, even when she turns her head. She screams, but Josh thinks it's just nervous tension. Meanwhile, Josh starts acting strange. He becomes irritable and says he hears voices that tell him where to find antique items hidden in the house. He discovers an old music box that begins to play by itself. Each tune ends with a child's laughter. Emma brings in a history expert to learn more about the house. The historian tells her that the mansion belonged to a wealthy family in the 19th century. Their youngest daughter, Evelyn, went missing, and then the family died under mysterious circumstances. It is said that Evelyn's eyes were windows to another world, and through them something entered this house. "Hey, baby, I'm here for you. I'm safe. You're safe." The historian warns, this house is not just a place, it's a portal. If you're here, it means they're already watching you. On the night Josh doesn't end up in the bedroom, Emma hears footsteps in the attic. She goes there and finds Josh standing in front of an old mirror. His eyes are blank, and his reflection in the mirror moves on its own. He whispers, "They want you, Emma." Shadows begin to emerge from the mirror, looking like human figures with blank faces. They surround Emma while Josh stands motionless. She tries to break the mirror, but each crack only releases more shadows. It's hard to explain this. The next day, the mansion is empty again. The neighbors notice that the house looks a little different, as if the walls have shifted slightly. No one lives inside, but the silhouette of a little girl with black eyes is sometimes seen on one of the windows. The story ends with a shot where a new buyer inspects the house and opens the door to the hallway. The mirror shows Emma's shadow standing behind him, with Evelyn's empty eyes flickering behind her back. Dispatching Lisa and is the mansion a soul trap, or is it something ancient that is using it to awaken? Who will be the next to enter its empty eyes? Now, That was an amazing and monumental experience for me. The story begins with a view of an old country house against a sunset sky. The camera zooms in on one of the windows, where a family is seen moving in. A young couple, Alex and Clara, with their 7-year-old daughter, Sophie. A child's laughter erupts in the room, but it is quickly cut short. The camera shows Sophie looking into the corner of the room. Arithmetic? She whispers, "Mommy, there's someone here." Alex and Clara recently bought this house at a low price. It is their chance to start a new life in a quiet place. The house looks old but cozy. They start renovations, and Sophie is excited about the large children's room. However, from the first days, Clara notices strange things. At night, she hears creaking floorboards, as if someone is walking. Alex says it's just old wood, but Sophie gets quieter and quieter. She plays alone and often looks into empty corners, as if she is talking to someone. She told her family that her mom sometimes used to play here in their basement cleaning, and her dad stole candles every night and fixed the interior of the house, which is absolutely horrific. But Sophie gets quieter and quieter. She plays alone and often looks into the empty corners, as if she's talking to someone. One day, Clara finds an old chest of children's toys in the basement. Among them is a doll with a cracked porcelain head. Sophie immediately becomes attached to the doll and calls her Lily. That same night, Clara hears her daughter laughing in her room, but when she comes in, Sophie is asleep and the doll is sitting on the edge of the bed. Although Clara remembers exactly putting it away in the closet. Alex finds strange symbols behind the wallpaper that look like children's drawings. Among them is the silhouette of a little girl surrounded by dark figures. Clara becomes concerned when Sophie says that Lily is protecting her. From who? Clara asks. Sophie replies, from that woman behind the wall. During the night, Alex hears whispers coming from the basement. When he goes down, the door slams shut behind him, and he hears banging from all directions. Clara helps him get out, but they find fresh scratches on the walls, as if someone tried to get out. Wait, what? Sophie becomes more and more distant. One day, Clara finds her sitting in front of an old mirror with a doll in her arms. In the mirror, Clara sees not her reflection, but something distorted and alien. Clara decides to find out the history of the house. She discovers that 30 years ago, a family with a young daughter lived here. The girl was rumored to have died under strange circumstances. It was said that the girl's mother went crazy and locked her in the basement. Shortly afterward, the woman disappeared, and the house was left empty. So you know what? Wasn't the woman that was actually in an old newspaper. Clara finds a picture of the girl. It is Lily, an exact copy of the doll Sophie found. On the night the family decides to leave the house, the lights go out in the entire building. They hear a loud banging coming from the walls. Sophie screams that she wants to get out. Clara sees the doll in Sophie's hands begin to move. Alex smashes the doll, but a thick shadow flies out of it and rushes towards the basement. The door to the basement slams shut, and the whole house is filled with the sound of a child crying. Clara, plucking up her courage, goes down to the basement and sees the shadow take the form of a woman. She says, "This is my house. Go away before it's too late." The family leaves the house at dawn. In the background, the house is once again silent, but a silhouette of a girl appears in one of the windows. The window fills with light, as if by the presence of a loved one. What a stupid phrase that. The story ends with a shot of the new owners opening a chest in the basement. Among the things, they find a doll with the inscription, "For my Lily." Was the girl's spirit simply attached to the house, or did her mother leave something more sinister behind that is now looking for new victims? Oh, the story begins with a shot of a wedding banquet. At first glance, everything is going perfectly. Happy guests, laughter, and the sounds of a waltz. The camera slowly approaches the bride Anna, who is dancing with the groom Max. But her gaze is tense, as if she is afraid of someone. Suddenly, the lights in the hall dim, the music stops, and all you can hear around you is a whisper. You shouldn't have done that. Um, you shouldn't done that. The main character is Anna, a 28-year-old woman who is finally getting married to Max, her beloved. The wedding takes place in an old mansion rented for the celebration. The place looks luxurious, but there is something oppressive in its atmosphere. Before the ceremony, Anna receives an anonymous letter. It says, "Don't say yes. He is not who he says he is." Anna thinks it is someone's joke, but begins to notice strange things. Her wedding dress suddenly feels too tight, as if the fabric is shrinking on its own, and the ring that Max gave her feels cold, even when she holds it. After the ceremony, the guests move into the banquet hall. Anna notices that she doesn't recognize all the guests. Some of the guests seem strange to her. They sit in the corner, are silent, and don't touch the food. When she asks Max who these people are, he answers evasively, "These are old acquaintances of mine. You don't know them? There are my daughter and my son, my 15-year-old, my son Echo." In the midst of the evening, one of Anna's friends, Lisa, suddenly whispers to her, "This hall, there's something wrong here. I saw one of the guests walk through the wall." Anna thinks that Lisa drank too much, but her words get stuck in her head. During the wedding dance, the lights in the hall begin to flicker. In the mirrors on the walls, Anna sees that instead of Max, another figure is holding her, dark, blurry, with bright eyes. But when she blinks, everything returns to normal. Later in the bathroom, Anna hears a whisper coming from an old ventilation grate. A voice similar to her own says, "You're trapped. Leave before it's too late." um, Anna decides to explore the mansion and finds an old book of photographs in one of the locked rooms. One of them shows a man who looks exactly like Max, but the photo is dated 1923. The caption reads, "Maxwell Carter, the mansion's last groom." She also finds records that the mansion was a place for rituals. Men who got married here gave up the souls of their brides to prolong their lives. Burns. Anna returns to the hall and sees that half of the guests have disappeared. Max approaches her and offers her a second dance. She refuses, but his voice becomes harsh. "You promised. You are mine forever." The guests remaining in the hall begin to stand up and approach Anna. Their faces distort, turning into a grimace of horror. "I swear, I promise. I'm just happy to spend my night alone." Anna realizes that she must destroy the ring that Max put on her. She tears it off her finger and throws it into the fireplace. At that moment, the lights in the hall go out, and Max screams, "You can't leave!" And as she gets up from the floor, she sees Max sitting on his bed in the kitchen. And Max sees her for the first time, and that's when all the colors in the room turn pink. And it's kind of like Anna, just seeing Max throbbing. Anna wakes up in the garden of a mansion that has burned to the ground. She is the only survivor. None of the guests have been found. However, the same ring is on her finger again, and in the car mirror she sees Max's face, who whispers, "Until the next dance." Was Max truly immortal, or a spirit bound to the mansion? And will Anna be able to break his curse?